So this is going to be a video about my N-scale layout that I'm currently in the process of designing. This is going to be part 1 of 3, so be sure to check out the other parts of this video. In this video I wanted to go over a little bit about the railroad that I'll be modeling, and I also wanted to talk about the benchwork design that I've come up with. And then I thought I would finish out the video by showing you some images both on Google Maps and images from the internet showing the railroad that I'll be modeling so that you have a better idea of what it's going to look like in the end. So first off, this is going to be a N-scale layout based off the Guilford rail system. And now Guilford rail system is all throughout New England and I believe parts of New York, and might even go a little further south past Connecticut. I'm not really sure. But I'm going to be modeling the Madison branch, and the Madison branch goes, the area of the Madison branch that I'm going to be modeling is between North Anson, Maine, and Oakland, Maine. And Madison branch nowadays really isn't used too much. It services, or the major industry that it serviced up until I believe 2013 was the Madison paper mill, and this is the industry that I'll be modeling on the layout. It's going to be one industry and a small section of track with a good amount of switching involved. Should be an interesting layout to build. Now the railroad isn't used nowadays due to the fact that the rails were in such bad condition they couldn't run trains on them anymore and shipments were being delayed. So I'm going to be modeling the period right before that, when the rail service was right before it was closed down, where things were running slow, but still they were trying their best to get things out there. The rail speed is actually 10 miles per hour that they were going on that line, so that's what I'll be replicating. It's going to be very basic layout, but should be a lot of fun. There'll be a single engine, DC powered, and I'll be using code 55 track, code 55 flex track, and the turnouts for the layout. And now you can see I have here a sort of bird's eye view, if you will, of the measurements of my bench work. And this is going to be a corner shelf layout. Didn't have a lot of space to use in my apartment, so I had to work with what I had. So the measurements of the layout are going to be 18 inches deep and 6 feet in length, and then it's going to go down another 4 feet, and again it'll be 18 inches deep. And there's this corner section here due to the fact that the track plan will have the tracks coming right to this corner, so I wanted to add that in there to be on the safe side. And you can see here on the left there's a materials list. It's going to be very basic in terms of the lumber used and the plywood. I'll just be using 8-foot 1x3s and regular 1/2-inch plywood to make the structure of the layout, and various carriage bolts and so forth to fasten the legs to the table. And if we go down here, you can see I have sort of a exploded view, or a 3D view of the table design that I've come up with. These are the 1x3s for the framework, and then the plywood will just go on top. And the legs will be removable, and each section, which actually forms an L, will be able to this will be able to be broken down right here for easy storage or transportation or whatever is going to be needed. And these numbers here are for the building process. I have up here the corresponding letters and the sections that they go to. So for when I'm building this, I'll be able to easily assemble it without any problems. And I wanted to finish off this video by showing you some images of the trains that will be running in sort of the factory from a point of view perspective, just showing the Guilford rail engine that they used on this line and the types of cars, high roof box cars and so forth. Here's some pictures of the track conditions. This is from a recent derailment that they had, and that's very minimal damage. Just showing, you can see the nails aren't even really holding on the tracks too well. There's the engine. This is a picture from either the late 80s or early 90s, showing that same locomotive. There it is, showing some of the cars. This is the main line here, and the siding going into the loading tracks for the boxcars. I'm going to derail. And you can see here the tracks are actually sinking into the mud due to the fact that the weather around here, there was a lot of snow and water and so forth, so the tracks were sinking. And this, I believe, isn't part of the Madison line. I'm sure the trains were using it at some point, but this is really the line that the Madison branch used. And here you can see the factory from a bird's eye view. I'm going to be modeling from this point here, right before the tracks cross the road, down to about here, and I'll show you on a second the Google Maps image. You can have a better idea of what's around this corner here. Just showing the trains again. It'll be a great layout to build. I'm very excited. I haven't built a layout in quite a long time, well, a few years. So it should be fun. I've always wanted to model Guilford Rail, as that's the local railroad that we have around here. And so what you can see here is what we're just looking at just from a different view. This is the factory or the complex here. And this is where I would begin the layout. And if we follow the tracks down, I don't know if you can see, but there's a siding here. That's for outbound storage cars. And then there's 3 tracks, 1 for inbound chemicals and 2 for loading and receiving of various products. Then we can follow the line along the Kennebec River. And this is the Summit natural gas pipeline. And this is what feeds the mill. They used to use oil and now they use natural gas, which is cheaper. So I'll be modeling that as well. Then there's a siding here. This is storage siding 2, where I can store some of the cars, and this runs along the pulpwood storage yard. Then we come down a little further, and it goes to a second siding along the Kennebec River Reservoir and the log dam. And I'll be ending the layout design right about here before this forms into the main line again, so it won't be a switch. I originally had the switch there, but I figured I could use storage siding 2 to run the train around the cars when I need it. So this is pretty much the layout. This is the ideas that I've come up with so far. It's gonna be fun to build. I can't wait to get started. So be sure to check out the second and third part of the video series. Thanks for watching.